interviewed me. So it was a friend of Manny. It was Chad. It was Adversity. Sorry. Fuck shit.
Brad, oh, we're live.
Yeah.
We're good. All right. So
Live.
you're not supposed to talk until we introduce you. So, have I have I told you how much fun it is working with you under these intense?
It's more fun when we have all this shit done ahead of time. Yeah.
This is our 100th episode. Can you believe you sat?
Yay.
Can you believe I sat next to you for 100 episodes?
It's best to just. It's gonna take time.
Another thing is you're going out of town in a couple days, and I'm happy about that.
Yeah.
I feel
Me
like
too.
you need a break.
Yeah. Let's get.
No, we got to do our little show intro. We got to do the show intro. That's your camera. That's your camera right there.
Okay. I just went through a lot of stress having to do all this last minute
But
stuff, and so my head is not.
yeah, but it's not stressful. It's not stressful stuff. It's just regular everyday thing. How are the sound levels? Are we good?
Are you
Checking 1, 2,
trolling
3,
me?
4. No, I'm asking you. What do you?
I
You were
checked
gonna-
them before we went
Yeah,
live.
but you were over there. We never checked you. Is what I'm saying. We haven't checked you.
I can't be there and I don't know.
Check this fucking thing that's got UV meters right in front of you.
Yeah, but that doesn't say what. I don't even know what.
You're one.
Hello. Are you talking?
Checking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
See-
6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Yeah, we're both low. Let's just go. It's recording, right? I mean, I'm not happy with how it looks on here, but it looked
Okay.
fine on there. This is
All
a
right.
great intro to a
Yes,
show.
great intro. Like your attitude is.
Yeah.
Actually, I think it's a white supremacist thing. You're not supposed to.
Is
do that?
that?
You're not supposed to do okay anymore.
No.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I've never done that before.
That would do thumbs up.
Which one of these? Let's see what the buttons do. Oh, there we go. There's a wide shot.
Yeah, we haven't done the intro yet, so.
Oh, I
there's-
thought we had. There's a guy we're going to talk about in a second.
All right. Okay.
Okay,
everybody,
let's
quiet on
do the
set.
let's do the real intro.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. I'm just gonna skip that part because it's getting impossible. We're talking to this camera. Hello, Film Reverie listeners. This is Michael Beckemeyer, and the fucking bane of my existence.
Yeah. Balding
Yeah,
Ewok,
yeah.
right? That's my name.
And we're here in such a great fucking mood for our 100th episode. And we have with us today,
Anthony Maywright.
you fucking dummy. You just said your name like a question. Anthony Maywright. Anthony Maywright. So, Anthony Maywright.
I don't like saying my full name. It makes it uncomfortable. Anthony Maywright.
Anthony Maywright and I met under strange circumstances when I became randomly in his 10th grade year his TV production teacher.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then a lot of other shit happened, and then now he lives here.
Pretty much.
Okay.
So, but for our 100th episode, we wanted to do something a little bit different than what we normally do, and I wanted to see Brad lose his shit one last time before he leaves town.
Yeah. I'll get there. Just
And but we wanted to talk about, so So briefly, so we've made films together. We've worked together.
Yeah.
Some would say because I can find no other actors willing to work with me. We got this guy here.
I'm the last of the list.
The last of the list. But also, I've always sort of admired your I don't know, your willingness to avoid the I don't know, to push past the hesitation or the fear. Like when we first locked in on on each other, you were like, I'm gonna move to LA the day right after graduation to be an
I think
actor.
I was, like,
yeah, no, don't think you were.
I was.
You were.
Was it LA?
And I said, please don't do that.
No, it was Atlanta.
You were going to go to Atlanta.
I was going to Atlanta.
Oh, you were
Dead
going to go
set
to
on
Atlanta.
Atlanta.
Okay, dead set on Atlanta. So I said, please don't do that. Get yourself some training first.
Mm-hmm.
And then you stuck around for 2 years, which basically meant, not stuck around, but you went to work and you went to school and stuff like that. And then ultimately, basically what that meant is that we were able to make some films together,
Yeah.
work together. And then you actually, the whole time though, said, I'm going to LA. You decided to move to LA.
Yeah, when I started doing the school,
Yeah.
Marco, shout out to Marco and all them. I was kind of talked into doing the LA thing. That was definitely the
Yeah, but explain who Marco is and
Marco de George and Rob Moss were my. Do I look at the camera when I?
No, he's
Just
talking to us.
whatever.
He's talking to
Okay.
us.
Okay.
We're over here.
but
Okay.
so where were you? What were you doing?
Sponsored by. Yeah. Sponsored by milk.
Explain the whole Marco thing.
Yes, so I was doing the school at Truthful Acting, which is in Orlando, and I did that for a couple of years or so, and it's a conservatory that they do over there that you obviously told me about in high school.
I did tell you about that. I
And,
forgot.
It was such a fun, life-changing experience.
So I changed your life.
You changed my life
I changed your life. How many times have I changed your life so far?
multiple times.
Yeah, you're
Multiple
welcome.
times, yeah.
How many times have I changed your life?
I don't know.
Yes, and motherfucker.
That's a.
He lost count.
You
lost
want
count.
a number? I don't know. We met in tech school. I've known you forever.
You're being too literal.
Yes.
You're supposed to say infinitely.
You know how my brain
Yeah, I
works,
know,
right?
I know.
I take everything literally.
But from the start, here's what I wanted to talk to you about, because you and I have had many conversations about this over the years. Your thought process on leaping first, jump first, and build the parachute on the way down, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you're like, no, I'm just going to go, I'm going to move, I'm going to leave, and I'm going to work it out when I get there. You have consistently been that way, and at this point, you're on the brink of moving to LA for the third time.
The second.
The second time.
Second time.
Okay, so
But I've done the trip back and forth like the
bunch of times.
fourth time doing
Yeah.
the
So
road trip.
you happened to move 6 months before COVID.
Yeah, no, I moved. I think it was 7 months. Yeah,
7
6
months.
months, half a year.
So-
7 months before, yeah.
So
Yeah,
you
wow,
moved.
Yeah, it was only
Yeah, it wasn't long. It was in July, I think, of
August
of 2019.
and then yeah. That's what I did.
So what do you have to say about? Because in that time, I think we both know people that have moved out there and stayed, and then people that have moved out there or had moved out there but then moved back. And over the time, and I've just been thinking a lot about my own filmmaking, is how we've been making movies for 25 years, at least since '94. Since '94, and since then we know people that were gung ho about it, and then got hard, and then they didn't. And I've had my own pockets of time where I didn't do anything for extended periods of time, like 5-6 years.
Yeah.
And the sticking to it, like finding the thing you love and holding on to it. And then some people, and there's no judgment here, because what could be is you get out there, you realize this is shit. I don't want to do this shit. I want a family. I want to actually have money. I want to have a place to live and stuff like that. So I want to talk to you specifically about like chasing the dream, because you are, out of anyone that I know or speak to on a regular basis, you are more heavy-handed in that department than most. And you don't let the fear talk you out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chasing the dream. Yeah, I think when you tell yourself like this has got to happen, and then for me it was young. You know, I was like, this is the thing that has to happen in terms of, you know, what I want to do. And I started thinking about that early. Like I didn't just go, you know, toward later high school. I knew very early that I wanted to be involved in film.
When?
Probably like 10, 11.
What happened? What happened? What caused that?
What caused it? My
fucking Jim Carrey movie or
so
something?
Well, I always watched Jim Carrey, and my dad was always, he
Yeah.
loved him, and we would watch Dumb and Dumber and all that, and Ace Ventura and stuff, and crying, laughing, and then my uncle, I would go to his house, and he did this film class in college, and he would have this huge library of movies at his place. And we would watch like classic movies at his house when I was over there, when they had to watch me. If my parents did something, they would watch me, and I'd go over there and watch these crazy, unbelievable movies like Hitchcock and everything. So all of that was getting me really energized. Man, this might be something I want to get into. And then I started doing fun stuff with Noah and Peeps. We started making movies when we were like in middle school.
Really?
And I was dead set I wanted to be like a director. I was like, I want to be a movie maker at the time.
And you realize it's hard, so you decide to be an actor.
Exactly. So I got to do directing and making movies. And I'm like, yeah, the actor thing seems pretty cool. But at the time, too, I didn't really see myself as an actor. I was like, nah, it's just not my thing at the time. And you're shyer, too, at that age.
Yeah.
You're like, I was always, you know, Michael Jackson hat, head down, with the hair over my face, and no one saw me, saw my eyes while I was dancing because I was so like nervous. But I would start doing Michael at like the dances and in front of people. But I was always kind of very coy and nervous. But when I started coming out of the shell, I think I realized that was the best role for me in the filmmaking process. And I was like, that's...
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
explain. I'm here now.
Yay!
Hey, everybody.
And Brad cheered the fuck up.
I have alcohol.
No, you don't do
Yep, right here. See what it does?
I'm just drinking tea.
Dunkin' Donuts, baby.
I want you to explain the process of coming out of your shell and opening up. How did you do it? Because there'll be people who are like, I can't do that. I mean, how did you do that? You can't just decide to do it. What was your process? How did you do that?
Practicing jumping in front of people. Because it was always hard to do, and it still is hard to do. I think being in front of that social atmosphere almost takes practice, and getting in front of people and talking to people takes practice.
So you had to force yourself to do it.
I would force luckily my dad, he grew up.
Oh, your dad's a performer too.
In New York. He moved down and was a singer in...
Your dad grew up in New York? I don't think I knew that.
Syracuse, yeah.
Huh, okay.
Syracuse, and he came down here when it was going to be Hollywood East. And it wasn't, but it was supposed to be, you know. There was like a little
Yeah, it was
tease of
supposed
it.
to be.
And he was always that guy, being able to get in front of people. So that helped. Growing up with that helped, but it was also still forcing myself.
But did it give you pressure? You're like, well, my dad is good at it, so I need to be good at it?
I guess. Well, it made it not that. I think it was more like you just wanted to join in on the fun.
Yeah.
At that time, at least, you just kind of wanted to join in and dance with him or do what he was doing. So then, if he was cool with it, it almost made it easier to do it in front of friends because your dad's doing it with you. So that helped that part of the process. But it was a slow, it was just slowly getting in front of people and the head coming up a little bit more and taking the hat up a little more and
So confidence, in a way, you sort of grinded it out.
Yeah.
And the thing is, you're young enough now to where you haven't even really grinded it out yet.
Oh, yeah.
Grounded out,
100%.
grinded it, ground it out. You
Grounded.
haven't really done it yet.
100%.
And in a certain level, like
Grounded.
neither have I, because there's certain different things that I've done that you haven't done. You've done and all that stuff, but you haven't. But it's just the practice.
Yeah.
The practice.
It's the practice, but also you get yourself used to the idea that I'm going to make a fool of myself and it doesn't matter. And also, I don't care what these people think, because there's certain people that you care what their opinion is, the people you respect. But everyone else, it's like you eventually you realize there are going to be people that hate me and don't like me no matter what I do.
Yeah.
And they're going to be people that love me no matter what I do. So I'm just going to do what I do and, let them decide.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeffrey Lebowski is, you got to be right fucking there.
Every episode.
So we talked about this a little bit because here's the thing. I am about to turn 48 years old. So what does that make me? How old are you?
Wait, I was going to stop you there because I was going to keep that kind of low key.
Are you going to keep my age?
No, my age.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're a child.
Sure. I like that.
Compared to me, you're a child. Okay. So I'm so much older than you that
Just a little bit.
I've lived and died over and over and over again in different iterations of myself and all that stuff. And the older you get, the more you realize, like, that you get to a certain point that you realize, I've forgotten a whole bunch of versions of myself that I used to be. Like, I even forgot that I used to be like that, or I used to be that person. So one of my things is my daughter's graduated high school, and when I first got divorced from her mom, I was like, I'm going to California. I got to get the fuck out of here. I don't want to be here anymore. There's everywhere I turn. There's like this like, I grew up here in Orlando, so everywhere I turn, there's like, I remember when that used to be a Dunkin' Donuts, but now it's a Burger King. I remember when that, I remember that disappointing night that I had right there at that street corner, and all, it's surrounding you. So psychologically, I kind of felt like I needed to get out.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I said all the way through and I was going to leave, and then I decided that I didn't want to uproot my daughter and take her with me, and I definitely didn't want to leave her behind, so I stayed. And I said that whole time, when my kid gets out of high school, I'll go. So, but I'm still here.
Yeah.
And we've talked about this a lot recently. I recently read, finally, after 20 years of like needing to read it, I read The War of Art by Stephen Pressfield.
Okay.
And he talks a lot about resistance, the pushing back, that as soon as you say something, as soon as you go on the record with something, I'm going to be a filmmaker, the universe starts conspiring against you and starts sending you resistance. And resistance shows up in forms of your ego saying, don't do that. People might think you're stupid or dumb or might not like your thing, and it's going to be embarrassing if you make something and people don't like it, then blah, blah, blah. The ego also, not the ego, resistance also comes in forms of procrastination. I'll get to that tomorrow. I worked really hard today. I'll put my writing off till tomorrow. But resistance pops up with anything. It's like you decide you want to lose 10 pounds. That cheeseburger looks really fucking good right now. You decide you're going to run 100 miles a month. It's too hot outside right now. I'll run tomorrow. Like, you never get there by doing that. So I know what I'm experiencing is resistance. Like, what I'm experiencing right now in my life is resistance. And I've had multiple. The older my kid gets, the more existential crises I go through over time. And I tell everybody that I don't really feel older on my birthday. I'm about to turn 48, so I don't on my birthday.
You just
every
get warmed
year,
up. You just get warmed up.
I don't ever feel older. I feel older when my kid turned 18. That threw me into it's like, you're getting old, man. Look, your kid's already 18. But when on my birthday, I can blow it off and go eat a taco and be like, it's not my birthday, haha, let's go to a movie. But there's that is resistance. It's all resistance, and it's partially your ego protecting you. Anytime you want to meditate, I'm going to sit here and meditate. What happens? Your mind starts sending you little ping pong balls of your mind starts bouncing around all over the place. That's resistance, because you've decided, I'm going to sit down and meditate here for 20 minutes. You try to sit still. I'm going to sit perfectly still for 5 minutes. You start feeling itches everywhere. You start getting twitchy. It's resistance. Everything is resistance.
Yep.
You are particularly good at pushing past the resistance. I know you have other things that you have other things sending you resistance. Just jumping off the cliff and going to LA, or moving off to transition to somewhere else to follow your art, your craft, whatever. That's not it. Because you have, again, you moved in the summer of 2019. And everybody was like, haha, let's see. We made a couple of films the last 2 weeks before you left, I think it was. Only one of them has come out, but Manifest will be on YouTube soon. So if it's not right now, at the time this show comes out, it will be soon. And Safe is another one we're about done with. We ran you through the ringer on both of those, two completely different films. Anyway, but you left. You hopped in your 2008
2005
with
150,000
Toyota Corolla with 150,000 miles with your grandparents.
This time it was automatic, because I owned a stick. It was the same car, 05 stick, and that was that was a huge
upgrade. Oh, man, you felt like you were sitting pretty.
So money driving with that thing.
Have you ever driven a stick?
Yes.
I think it's a dying art. The fact that that you can drive a stick shift. There's so many people, they don't really know.
It's more fun. You can feel it's like the
Fast and the Furious.
Fenry 9.
Yeah.
Family first, and I just put it in first. Family first gear.
So, but you got out there, coronavirus happened, everything got shut down. You're like, I'm going to have to come home for a few months and wait it out, because everything, you were just getting settled there. It's not like you had a job. You had actor job. You had artist jobs. You were catering guy. You were whatever, all that stuff. I don't know if you want to talk about all that stuff, but you had regular gig economy type jobs, and they all shut down, especially in California, because California took everything really seriously. So you decided to come back to Florida, where they don't take anything seriously. And you rode that out for a few months, and then it's like, well, my lease is up. I'm going to go back out there and see what happens. And then you ended up, really just deciding to move back here. How hard was that? Because in my mind, I think, no looking back, if I get out there and I come home even for a weekend, I'm going to start thinking about staying.
It's funny, I never thought of it yet as that, weirdly. It was I guess, a very special exception with everything that happened. I never, even last August when I was considering coming home, I never felt like I was coming home, doing the thing, coming back, and that was it. Because my heart was still in LA, my mind, my mentality was still, making sure that I get back there. Obviously, a lot of times people leave and they come back and they get settled and it's done. They don't come back. And I know people that won't. But I was still, the energy was at least, there was waves of, not motivated and then being very motivated. But for the most part, I had my energy still in LA. And coming home, it felt good. It actually I just felt like a smart thing at the time, more so than a defeat.
And now you've been back here longer than you were ever out there in the first place, right?
Yeah.
You've been here. When did you come back?
I came back.
When did you officially come back? September. Oh, so almost a year.
Almost
10 months.
10 months.
10 months, yeah.
About 10 months, 11 months, yeah.
You were here so long, you even had to move in here for a couple months.
Yeah, I was
crashing at my daughter's room.
Family cottage in Lake Placid.
The family cottage in Lake Placid sounds like you're on fucking vacation. You fucking dumb.
The family cottage in Lake Placid, Florida.
Smoking a pipe on the porch.
Thinking about my dreams. I should have a pipe. I should have bought it. Dreams. What are they? They're just dreams. I sat there and I got bored, and since the third wave came, because I was going to go back in January, but I'm going to do this for a few months.
Dead set.
Come back, because if I don't come back in January, I might get really settled.
Yeah.
So then, when they had the third wave in LA, everything shut down crazy, and I'm like, all right, I can't do Lake Placid. I'm bored. That's not happening. And the spot with you opened up, which worked out beautifully, and I thank you to the stage for that.
Do you know that you made the smartest choice ever? Like, if there's anything that'll keep you feeling unsettled, it's living with Brad.
Yeah.
I can't even argue with
No.
He's like, yeah.
I noticed, like, whenever, like, he sees you in the kitchen, like, conversation.
Well, we have the history.
But,
Well, you told me, like, yeah, you say, like, try, like, don't.
Yeah, you did. You told him not to talk to you. Just don't talk to me.
This is in the morning.
in the morning.
I don't want to get you thinking, too
But
hard.
that's carried over into, like, all the
Did
time.
you see how nervous he was when we first started recording? He didn't know if he was allowed to talk because you were fussy.
Oh.
I don't want to trigger.
Yeah, I realized that I exude this intimidation factor of maybe I shouldn't talk to him kind of a vibe.
Yeah.
Even though
You guys are buddies.
I
You
try
guys
to
are buddies
You
now.
can talk to me anytime, but it's me, like, just giving you space.
I just don't initiate conversation, but I will respond
Yeah.
unless it's in the first thing in the
Unless it's in the
morning.
morning or too late at night or in the middle of the
Or
day.
if I'm in a
before it's
bad
like-
mood.
Right, so just don't talk to me.
Right. Yeah.
So don't take the chance.
don't risk it. Yeah, just move back to LA before something bad happens.
Yeah.
So, but you've been here for 10 months now. And so, first of all, how do you, just talk about your thought process, because, and you're not an expert at this, you're just somebody who's living through it, and you and I have had pretty extensive conversations about this particular thing, where the disappointment, you're like now 2 years older. Yeah. 2 years have gone by and you still haven't gotten the thing that you've been wanting to do since you were 10 started, because you almost got started.
Yeah, and things went well. I mean, for what it was, for the 7 months I was there, I was knocking as much out as I could.
Yeah.
And it felt good. It felt like momentum was starting to happen, especially March. I mean, especially that March of 2020 felt like everything was like this and that.
Yeah.
I mean, things are going well. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, let's keep this going.
Yeah.
And you got that just hustle mentality of just let's just keep it rolling, keep pushing. But then, for me and everyone else, the momentum's dead stop. And it was tough to keep the dream energized. Alive. I mean, for me and for anybody in any industry.
Do you feel like you're about to leave now, and you came back? You haven't been on vacation, but you've basically been in a holding pattern while you're here in terms of your
It's been a long
desired career.
Long vacation. Yeah.
And you did things like embed yourself into a salsa class community.
That's the best thing in the world. Best thing. That was one of the coolest things. Never would have expected it. If the pandemic didn't happen, I would have never done it.
Yeah.
I'm sure I would have never had the time to dive into it like I did.
These are a group of people that just like to make salsa, right?
We cook salsa.
Tacos and stuff?
We love tacos and salsa. We cook it. We make it.
What kind of
We
salsa?
judge it.
Like tomatillo?
Avocado.
All the kinds. You gotta learn them all.
Tomatillo.
Hot,
Really
mild.
tomatillo.
And that changed your life.
And that changed my life, yeah.
So, but you got yourself ingrained there, and
so
the first
We're
time you
talking about
left.
dancing.
Yeah,
that's dancing.
So the first time you left, it was, this is the life dream. I'm going to go. I've been preparing for this moment.
Yeah.
This time you had to pause everything down there, over there. I don't know, over there. And come back and just wait it out, ride out the storm, And now you're about to go back.
Yeah.
What, you got 5 days away from going? 6 days.
Week.
Yeah, you got a week.
Within a week.
And which time was harder?
The first time.
The first time was harder.
First time was harder because it was harder.
You never You've never told me more times than this time around how much you were going to miss me. I'm going to miss you. I'm going to miss you. Like I miss you already. The last time.
I lived with you last time. So I didn't get to miss you as much, you know?
But he even told Brad he was going to miss him.
Yeah.
Even though he was afraid he was going to get his head bitten off when he said it.
Yeah. We barely speak, and he's like, I'm going to miss you.
Brad, I don't know what it is about you, but people that don't know any better somehow like you. My students all love you because they've seen you act in our movie Totally Awkward, Letting It Totally Awkward, and something about the hummus and the cheese squares cameo just makes everybody think you're like the most fun individual, and then they meet you and they're like, holy fucking shit, what just happened? It's like that saying, I think Betty Davis, I can't remember if it was Betty Davis, but actresses will say, you know, men will often pursue me, and then they'll go to bed with me, and then they'll go to bed with like who they think I am, but they'll wake up and it's just me in the morning.
That's
so
funny.
That's what Brad's like.
Yeah.
It's when they meet Brad, they find out, it's
just...
yeah.
The illusion is shattered.
We pulled back the curtain. So
I'm naked, full of hair. Yeah.
full of hair.
The shower curtain.
Full of hair makes it sound like it's coming out of your mouth. I'm full of hair. Okay, so what do you tell people? Like, what are you thinking when you're going? What are you doing? Like, you're about to hop in a car and drive across country for at least the.
It's insane. I mean,
how many times have you done it?
This is the fourth time I've done the trip. You know,
You moved the first time you moved out there.
I moved out there.
When you moved out there the first time, had you even ever been there before?
I'd never been there. I never visited. Nothing.
Right. You had friends that you were moving in with.
Here's my defense of that. I was glad that it worked out that way because I almost did visit, but it was like even to a point of I was going to do the thing I wanted to do, and the living aspect of it, like in terms of the comfortability of maybe the traffic or the homeless and all that stuff, which is an issue, and it does get annoying, and it'll give you some interesting days out there.
But homeless people are being homeless.
Being homeless, traffic, the grind, and just the living.
Yeah.
You know, when you're not kicking ass out there, you're feeling it.
Because the times I've been to LA, the 2 or 3 times I've been out there, they're obsessed with talking about traffic.
Oh yeah,
traffic is like, well, if you take the thing and the thing, they even did that spoof on Saturday Night Live where they're talking about what roads they take.
Oh yeah,
they're really like that out there because it's traffic. It's everywhere.
Oh yeah,
yeah. So that would be annoying because I avoid I-4 in Orlando strictly because of traffic.
It's a lot.
I-4 for it.
It's a lot, but you used to. One thing that's nice about the traffic is like at least you know. If the GPS does a good job of going, it's going to take you 40 minutes to get to this place. It's only like 7 miles away, but at least you know it's going to be 40 minutes. So you can plan around, okay, it's going to take me 40 minutes to get there. Sometimes with Orlando, it doesn't really have a lot of traffic. So when it doesn't have traffic, it's unexpected, and you're like, shit, I'm late.
That would drive Brad crazy.
Well,
first of all, Brad has struggled getting places. He's like a disheveled person.
Yeah.
Getting places on time is a struggle for him. Plus, if you add in 40 minutes worth of bad traffic,
I have to get ready 2 hours before, and then leave like an hour and a half before I need to be there. Because if I'm going to be on time, I have to leave ridiculously early and get up ridiculously. Because I'm the tortoise that I'll finish the race, but it takes a long time.
So you were talking about the grind.
Yeah, no, so it's crazy. Like going back, it's crazy because, it was me going without even visiting. So my whole thing again was just I was going to do the thing I wanted to do, and I knew that was it, and nothing, not even the living scenario, as crazy as it was, would stop me.
And then you had to come back.
And then I came back,
You had to come back. Were you afraid when you came back that you were going to get settled in?
Yeah, I keep reminding myself. I almost did plenty of times too. I think.
You almost did settle in. You're almost.
Oh my God! There's many times I wanted to quit. I mean, even
I haven't even gotten started yet. Talk about it, because that's that's the resistance that I'm talking about.
Plenty of times where you're like, okay, this is not happening. You know, this is crazy.
You're sitting there in a one-bedroom apartment with two other people going, don't they have actors in fucking Orlando?
Yeah. Let me have some movie being made, I guess. If I ever see a homeless guy change his clothes on the back of my truck one more time, I'm gonna freak out.
When I was my first trip to LA, and by the way, I mean it's an ugly situation. I don't know what to do about it, but yeah, I literally, the first thing I saw when I got to LA, I parked the car, I got out, and there was a homeless man pissing in a garbage can.
Oh, of course, yeah, absolutely.
And the person I was there with said, just welcome to LA. And I'm like, you guys just like walk, you just like, they're sort of like, when you stop and think about it, it makes you sad and depressed and upset and all that, so they just kind of it just exists around
It's
it.
like a movie that's playing in the background that they've seen before.
Yeah. I mean, it's ugly. It's ugly.
I don't think I could handle that on a daily basis. I would need to be somewhere where I'm not exposed to that all the time.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah, it's hard enough to deal with me with normal circumstances, but having to see that. Wow.
Yeah.
That's almost like another question I would have for you is, how do you, like, all the fear and everything, and also, like, I'm afraid for you going out there, because I've been seeing a lot of people who are leaving LA because it's just,
there's a mass exodus.
There's a mass exodus.
California's a mass
you know, people on YouTube and all of that, and everything I'm hearing, I'm like, what are you doing, right?
Yeah, and at some point it could change the industry. If the casting directors start moving out to Atlanta or Florida or New York or anything like that, then Hollywood could start becoming not Hollywood and it'd be other locations because of how much people are, like you said, exiting.
How do you deal with it
emotionally?
Like, not all, you got all the regular fear.
Emotionally? I don't.
But then when you leave, you see that, and then you're like, that could be me in a few months.
Right, that could be me. If you get that job in gay porn, that could be you.
That could be me. That could be it. It's a lot of, there's a lot of unknown. I think the first time, that's what made the first time so hard, was because there was so much unknown. You had no idea what to expect. And I didn't know anybody, which didn't help, but I also didn't know, like, how long it would be until I see my peeps again, my people from here. And I didn't know, if not seeing people from here, how much of our relationship would be tampered because of that. If I would start losing the quality of my relationships that I've taken my whole life to make, am I going to start losing those?
Well, you did abandon them.
And I think, I did. I abandoned them. It's so sad. But that was the concern. That was like, you just didn't know. There was so much you could just start going down a rabbit hole of fear of, like, oh, what if this happens, or what if that happens? But weirdly, with COVID and being back and forth so much the past year, it's made me realize that it's a plane flight away. People still remember, the quality, like, your close peeps, your stated close peeps. You don't lose that. They respect what you're doing. It's okay if they don't see you as much anymore, but there's a lot of that stuff.
That fear of that stuff, that's resistance. I'm telling you, everything's resistance. And the trick to being, Stephen Pressfield talks a lot about resistance and all that stuff, but he also talks about turning pro is another section of the book, and it doesn't mean professional under the definition of somebody paid me to do a job. It's just acting like a professional before you're a professional. So I've been in production before. I've been paid to be an editor. I've been paid to write scripts. I've been paid to shoot things and edit things and all that stuff. And Brad has too. You are too at that point. But I mean, you never edited anything very good. I mean, I have the videos from high school to prove
Well,
it.
you're the teacher, so you taught me.
But you tell me.
You taught me.
Oh, yeah. I tried. You know, you were pretty absent.
I'm
last
the
year.
product of your...
But so it's not that kind of, so in that realm we are professionals. You've been paid to act at this point, like, you know, not by me, but
Barely. A little bit.
but turning pro is like the mindset required to is required to keep working, because the only way to fight the resistance is to get up every morning and do it. Follow a process, follow a routine, stick to it. If you're gonna write every day, you get up every day and you fucking write.
Yeah.
It might be shit. You might throw it out at the end of the day. You might hate it. It might be something no one ever sees. I know a lot about that. I have 24 screenplays. I'm working on a 25th, and it's like, no one's seen them. Like, people have seen like very little of what I've worked on, but. So I'm not patting myself on the back, but what I'm saying is it's the mindset required, so you have to act like a professional. Professionals don't sit around and worry about what people are going to think about them. They don't sit around and worry about, are my friends going to forget about me?
Yeah.
You know, and it sounds cold and callous to view it that way, but a professional is only concerned with the thing, like whatever it is.
Yeah.
So we have to do it. It's hard, but it is the sacrifice and the commitment that artists or creative people have to make to be the conduit of like art, you know, whatever. I know it sounds pretentious, but like to be the person that story or that performance or that thing comes through. Like, we only get there by being a pro. We don't, you know, anybody who gets there on accident or stumbles into something because they know the right person at the right time, they only get to stay there if they've earned it. Like, you might get something that you feel like you don't deserve at first because you know how hard it was to get where you are. But you only get to really stay there for an extended period of time if you earn it over time.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Kind of like not Goodwill Hunting. Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah.
You know, the end where he's like, earn this, and you're like, don't say that, man. Everybody just died. Earn this. Oh, shit.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like 50 years later, that man's crying at the gravesite going, am I a good person?
Yeah.
Did I earn it? That's it. And with like creative people, I know so many people who say they want to do a thing. And I'm talking about myself here too, because like we were talking a little bit about like my resistance to like leave town, you know, to blow up my life and go somewhere else, because I'm older and all that stuff. But I know so many people who still 15 years later say they want to make movies, and they haven't even written one thing. They haven't made a thing, and it's their ego fucking with them. You know, it's like
It's fear of people rejecting.
and you wait rejection.
Yeah.
And if you wait too long, 4 or 5 years down the road, now you're like, I've been saying for 4 or 5 years I was going to do this, and now if I do it, there's 5 more years of me talking about it.
It's the whole like, oh, what if I put all this effort into something and it doesn't work out? I feel like I've wasted time. And that's the biggest fear, I think, for anybody. It's like, oh, if I write the script and it's bad, what a waste of time that was. I might as well not even try.
Well,
and then they just stay in that constant cycle of their own mind screwing with them every day.
First of all, if you've written your first screenplay and you're looking back at it, you know that the first one's going to be bad.
Yeah.
And
that's how
you know
you-
that the second and third one are going to be bad too. But also, if you're, you know, we're talking about Stephen Pressfield, the power of art. If you are, you know that as a professional, you just go back and fix it. Like that's part of the process. You write something shitty, or you make something shitty, or you do a performance that you might like and go, that's not my best. You have next time to you just just do the
100%.
work. And I'm worried what people are going to think is not something that, like, you know, a creative genius ever worries about. The rejection might not sit well with them. Stephen Pressfield tells a story. I know I keep mentioning him. He tells a story in his book War of Art, where he's talking about he was a writer for a long time. He quit his job in his like 20s or 30s, and he was like, I'm going to go be a writer. And the pressure of being a writer, like, basically destroyed him psychologically. He was so ramped up about doing a good job to not fail at it that he couldn't even do it. He couldn't even do it. So he washed up in his like 40s, in his 30s, and he never even finished a book, even though he said he was going to do one. He like went back and he was like a truck driver at some point because of all that stuff. And then the failure to even start messed with him so much that he didn't write another book he didn't even write a book for 10 years. He was in his 40s before he ever finished a novel. He started his first novel, didn't finish it. His second novel, didn't finish it. His third novel, he finally finished, and he said once he finished that, no one ever even bought that book. Or the next one. He wrote 5 or 6 books before anyone ever published one of his books, and he was in his 40s. And in that time, he had a lot of time to sit with his demons while he's not doing the thing he said he wanted to do, he thought he could do, and then doing it. He said he would get 99% of the way through a book, and then not finish it because the idea of finishing it and having no one like it or read it or buy it terrified him to the point where he just wouldn't finish it. And then he got all the way through another book, 99% of the way through there, and then the same thing happened. It was his third book before he just finished it, and the way it says it, he's like, "Rest in peace, motherfucker. I finished you." He did it. He pushed. He leveled up in that one thing. And then it was his 5th book. I think his 4th or 5th book was The Legend of Bagger Vance. I don't know if you ever saw that movie, but the book is great.
Okay.
The movie's not so much great, but that was the first book that he got published, and his first book made him, a success.
Mm-hmm.
And then he had the whole, I got to figure out how to do that again pressure, and it just, but in that time he figured out this stuff. He fought his demons and figured it out, and he wrote basically one of the best works for creative people to read, or to help people like through the process, because he doesn't write down to you. He writes to us.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, I'm here, I'm there with you too. I'm there every morning writing, no matter what. So you have to do it every day.
Absolutely.
Have you been doing it while you were here?
Doing
it? Yeah.
Doing the thing?
The thing.
Yeah, a little bit.
What do you mean the thing?
What do you mean the thing? Like, I mean, like, just
have you
acting
been sticking to it?
Yeah,
been doing to sharpen your tool.
Are you just sitting in your room, or are you practicing things?
Video games?
Well, a lot of video games. Madden was good.
Learning how to make salsa.
Madden was good. Salsa. Made a lot of salsa, mainly.
They would say Madden was good?
Madden was good. Madden's great.
I guess the question is, are you sharpening your saw?
Sharpening my saw in ways, yes. There was always ways I was sharpening my saw when I was more so even at the lake, Placid, when I was alone.
Really?
There was actually not much else to do but sharpen. So, yeah, I would say I did that over there a lot more. I had more auditions at that point too, especially when I did a project that was interesting back in, I think October in Miami. It didn't go well. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to wait a little bit.
We made one.
Did we make one?
We made a film, yeah.
Well, no, I was here.
In June, yeah.
Well, yeah. Well, I guess, yeah. I know, yeah. When I was back and forth.
That didn't go well either.
That was good. We won't talk about that one.
That's the Voldemort of
the film that shall not be named. Anyway, the film itself is fine. It's just there were some behind the scenes issues.
Yeah. That's
the BTS on chopstick.
Yeah, I would say like
If the cat's just on the equipment.
He doesn't care. He's chilling. I love that. I wish I could just go on a table and lay there in front of people.
All right, so you have a friend that says, Anthony Maywright, I want to do what you did.
Yeah, we need to.
I want to move to LA. What do you tell them?
Like just in general.
Yeah. First thing, what's your first reaction?
My first reaction is do it, but do it when you're ready. You know, LA is a place to be seen, not to learn. Or let me rephrase that. It's the place to go to be seen, but you can still grow as an actor here. You don't get good in LA, you get seen. That's probably the best way to say it.
Yeah.
You get seen. So if you're not good, you're going to be exposed. But you can get good in LA. It's just going to be a little bit interesting. And you can start getting warmed up in your market, whether it's Orlando or if it's Louisiana or Wyoming, whatever. I mean, there's always a market. There's always like different markets around even the U.S. where you can get headshots and start reading books and auditioning and getting used to the process of the whole thing.
What does somebody need to do to be ready?
That's a loaded question. I think you almost know to a point, but then you're almost never ready. Sometimes you have to just kind of jump and just go. And then I respect the guy who right out of high school and goes to LA. I totally respect that, and I think you'll learn a lot, and you can still grow as an actor out there and get your ass kicked in a little bit, but you'll be tougher for it, and you'll build a lot of character for it. But there's also options of showing up, learning about the craft, getting better at it, and then going there a little bit where you can kind of almost hit the ground running a little bit better.
So somebody you went to high school with says to you, or somebody you met on the streets, or like somebody you met in acting class, hey, I want to go to LA like you. You tell them go, but when you're ready.
Go, and you better, you're ready, and you believe 100% that you can make it happen.
So what do you then say to the person?
Really stick it out.
What then do you say to the person that is out there but is thinking about leaving?
It depends. There's sometimes you realize that your passion isn't your passion. And you know that when...
You're being so fucking polite.
No, I know.
Your passion isn't your passion. Like, you can't act worth shit.
I mean, when you start to realize, if you, like, the thing your passion is this thing that you're the best at and putting the least effort towards, right? So, or at least there's some talent there and you can work on it. I think, go ahead.
I was just going to say not least effort, but it doesn't take as much effort.
Like there's some talent there. That's your gifts, right? That's your gift.
Your gift.
That's your gift.
Yeah. Because you got to work at it.
Yes, you still have to work. You absolutely.
Yes.
And people don't. They get there, and then it's a lot, and they get overwhelmed, and they get kind of kicked out of the town.
Do you think they should leave?
It depends. It depends if it's something you know you have to do, and you got to stick through the adversity, or if it's something you realize this is not meant to be, and I thought it was this, and it happened to be that, or you know what I mean? Like you realize it's not what.
Yeah, but isn't that just fear fucking with you?
Sometimes it's a tough. Usually, you know if you're going home because you're afraid or you're tired of it all, or like if you're just you're coming home for the wrong reasons, you kind of know, and that's that's kind of up to you, and no one will know the truth of that. Like if it'll be you who knows if it's you're making the right decisions to come home.
Yeah.
I need to say though, this is going to be the subject of our next episode.
Yeah, we're gonna do another show with you.
And
we're gonna talk about that.
We really need to wrap up.
Okay, 100%. Let's do it.
So if there's anything, you have website or Facebook.
Yeah, just tell people where you want to go. We'll wrap up.
Yeah,
I'll tune in a minute.
Tune in, keep updated on the website, AnthonyMaywright.com. Like so shy about that. Follow me on Instagram at Anthony Maywright, and
for all the salsa videos
coming soon, hopefully.
Yeah,
definitely. And
you have your own line of salsa.
My line.
Your line of salsa, like Maywright's
salsa, like
tomatillo.
Tomatillo, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm getting there.
So,
I'm getting there.
how do you spell Maywright?
Maywright. Wait for you, the W.
So that's your Twitter,
keep
Instagram, all that?
Pretty much, yeah. Everything's pretty much
Okay.
straightforward.
TikTok.
TikTok, that's just you screwing around and that's whatever. Yeah.
As always,
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Part one. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna try to. We'll have you back for another episode.
Yeah, we're going to
Next
transition
episode,
right into just California, I guess.
Let's do it.
All right. To get in touch with us.
Oh, yeah, there you go. That's a button to press. No, it's this one. Okay, there you go.
To get in touch with us, you can follow us on Instagram or Twitter or anything. It's Beckemeyer and Balding Ewok. If you want to send us an email, it is filmreverypodcast@gmail.com.
Also, Super Mega Ultra.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we're on Facebook and Twitch and YouTube as Super Mega Ultra, and we do live shows and all that. And yeah.
We are smuentertainment.com is our website. That's it for this time. We'll be back next time with another episode with Anthony Maywright. We're going to be talking about transitioning to California, I think.
Oh, okay.
During the pandemic.
Transitioning.
I thought you were going somewhere different.
Transitioning.
Yeah. Transitioning. All right, that's it. And cut.
Press the button.
All right. Nice. That's good. That's good.
Mouse button. The cat is going to kill the audio. Oh.
We're still live, so
Yep, we're live.
Oh, shoot.
get off the
Cat.
We're still live?
Yeah.
That's scary.
Yeah.
Yeah, just stand there and
Who's
look
watching?
awkward.
Who's watching?
Two
Nobody.
people.
Is it really?
Hi, two people. Oh,
Yeah.
we have comments.
Gerard, yes!
John is watching?
Look at anybody.
He calls you an old fuck, Mike.
Gerard.
Yeah, John. Yeah.
He says, when is he going to be again?